Hey, what's going on? It's Jason Lucchese and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am so excited that you are here with us. We've got some really cool stuff on our screen here that we're going to be sharing with you. Mike put together something really awesome that everybody on our channel, everybody on YouTube world needs to be hearing this. This is huge stuff. Mike, how's it going today, man?
I'm doing good, Jason. Thanks for having me on here again. And yeah, we are going to be going over something pretty cool. And the reason I put this on our notes as a video that we should talk about is I'm a member of a lot of Facebook groups, as most of us are, in real estate. And one of the questions I started seeing a lot was, how do I pick an investing strategy, or you know, how do I pick a market to get started with? Like, that's always like the common question. Where do I begin, essentially? The question was posed really oddly, where it was like, where do I go to pick a marketing area? And I'm like, okay, well, it sounds like she's trying to figure out how to start investing in real estate. And it sounds like the question should more be, how do I pick a strategy to start with rather than I pick an area? Because we've covered in several videos on picking cash buyers and picking area. Am I right?
Oh yeah, we've covered a ton, especially on cash buyers. We just did a cash buyers hack video talking about cash buyers, and we gave away our script in that video. Mike also gave some scenarios. I gave some scenarios on what to say. So yeah, absolutely, man.
So, you know, really the next question is, how do I pick a strategy to begin in this area where cash buyers are telling me they want properties? So identifying where you're going to invest is obviously going to be the first step. You know, talking to cash buyers, finding out where they're buying. Perfect. This is where I'm going to begin my investing. Now all I need to do is figure out who I'm going to reach out to find these properties. And how do I identify a strategy to begin with? You know, a lot of times, and stop me if you heard me this, stop me when I'm wrong. You get this huge cavalcade of strategies, basically all these tips of marketing materials, different types of leads. Here's your tax leads, your vacants, your divorces, your pre-foreclosures, your whatever. And you're kind of left with this, where do I begin mentality, right? Take a look at the availability first. All right. We're going to start picking and honing this down a little bit more. Now we know the area. Take a look at the availability. Tax leads. We talked about tax leads before. We've talked about code violations. We talked about, you know, the water shutoffs and whatnot. We've talked about pre-foreclosures. We've talked about driving for dollars. Look at the availability. All right. Go online really quick and do a search. How many delinquent tax leads are there? How many pre-foreclosures are there right now? Let me go and look at the FSBOs. How many FSBOs are listed right now? Like, just look at the availability and say, okay, there are 2,000 people falling behind on taxes right now. And the tax sale is coming up in March, which is where it's coming for us. So this is a good strategy for me to start with. There are 2,000 people here that are about to lose their house in just a few short months. So I don't need to look anywhere else. I've identified a strategy, okay? Picking that strategy is going to be the number one. Jason, and in your experience, how many people have a hard time identifying which lead, and what is the biggest problem when people get all these different lead sources and getting going?
You know, I call it shiny object syndrome, because when I first got started, I remember I bought up a gazillion courses. And some of you may know my story. It was like $45,000 in courses and coaching. And I remember sitting on the floor with all of the trainings around me. This is before everything went on like virtual platforms and all that type of stuff. But I was overwhelmed. I really had no idea where to go. You know, I ventured at probate. I didn't go gung-ho at first at it. I dibble-dabbled is what I was like to say. It was more like a hobby. I didn't really treat it as a business right off the bat. And I didn't know what I was doing as far as cash buyers. So that really, you know, one of the things, Mike, that we talk about, especially with markets, the main thing that you also want to do too is, like, if you're in a market, you want to find out more about the market, you could take a look at one of our videos that we did where we showed using a really cool free platform called listsource.com. You don't need to purchase any of the leads off there or anything, but you could find out like who's legit buying in the areas that you're wanting to eventually do business in. You could narrow it down by zip codes, and you could choose the best zip codes. The other thing that we like to do too, especially when we're presenting to private money lenders, is we like to see statistics from other different types of reputable websites out there. So, you know, is Indianapolis a good rental market? Are we having low days on market to where as soon as a property is listed, we could sell it quickly? Like, those are things like I want to see. Like, are people moving here? Is the median value going up? You know, where's the direction of the market? How's unemployment? Is there areas where people can get jobs at in that particular market? Because that's what drives people to those markets. You know, schools are really good too, but the main thing that you want to look out for, are there jobs there? Are there jobs within a driving distance of like 20 minutes or so? So that's really big too, Mike. You need to find out those particular things when you're hopping into a market, like you said, and then choosing a niche, choosing that lead source.
Right. And now that you understand, like, okay, picking a market really isn't that hard. It's just picking the area where they're buying, and picking a strategy to begin with isn't really that hard. It's just taking a look at availability. Let's add another layer on top of this just to separate you a little bit more. Because there are so many different lead sources out there, you have this ability to take one lead source and put another one right on top of it, and another one, as many as you want, to basically increase the level of motivation in that lead source. Okay, so with your tax delinquent leads, let's say there's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Well, obviously you're not going to start with 4,000 mailers. I mean, I know some people talk about they're going, oh yeah, be consistent, send mailer. No, you're not going to do that. What you're actually going to do is you're going to be like, well, who is in tax delinquency who's also has a whole bunch of code violations? Their grass. I talked to a guy who had $15,000 on top of his $2,000 tax delinquency in violations for code for his grass. He had trash out front, couches and stuff that I guess were in the house. We're now sitting outside the house and whatnot. But another level of motivation. And then maybe on top of that, which ones of those properties are vacant? Like this guy, he had just had trash sitting out in front of his house. He was just getting fined every month after month after month. So he's behind on taxes. He's got code violations. No longer lives on the property. I now have a triple threat here of leads. So now I have one. My strategy is going to be still one approach. I'm not going to come at them with, talking about their code violations. I'm not going to be talking about the fact that they're not living in the house. I'm going to take them with one approach, the tax delinquency. So when I fire off my marketing, and this is where you're going to be highly fine-tuned what you're doing. You're going to use the tools. Jason, we talk about tools all the time. Ringless voicemail. You said shiny objects. Ringless voicemail, text messages, direct mail, Facebook messages, emails. All these things are just tools. What you're going to do is finely tune that and use those tools in the right order. You're going to send out a direct mail piece specific for tax delinquency. So when they get this letter and they're thinking about their code violations, the fact they don't live in the house, that it's sitting however many miles away or hours away or whatever it is, just stacking up fees, and then the fact that the county's trying to take them from, the only thing they're going to be thinking about is when they get your letter is, oh, this person wants to help me with my taxes. Cool. Their mind is in line with yours, right?
The other thing too, a huge thing that you need to really pay attention to here as you guys are watching this, what Mike just said about the stacking, which we do a huge amount of. Mike, why don't you just talk about real quick how much they're, individuals that are watching this are going to save from a marketing standpoint? Because, we know folks that are sending off 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, even 50,000 postcards a month, but it's to a huge blanket of people, right? So you're going to get people that are obviously going to respond from 50,000 people. But if we're sending off, 100, 150, 200 pieces, and we're getting a 30 to 40% response ratio from lead stacking, and we're also getting the most motivated people because of the stacking, our marketing expenses have plummeted. They've decreased.
Yeah, man. Jason, you're right. And I apologize for missing that, because that's probably one of the biggest things. Your marketing expenses go way down. That list of 2,000, it's down to like 168 to 200. You're right on the money with hitting about the number of marketing materials that we send out, about 400 pieces a month, because it's about 40 pieces a day, 3 days a week. So it's about 400 pieces we send out a month, as opposed to what it used to be, Jason, 2,500 minimum every single month. So that cost has gone way down. Plus, when you do it the way we talk about, when I said you pick your market based on where buyers are buying, then they've given you all the criteria and what they're looking for. You've done the math, you've checked the area, schools and everything, there's work. So people are going to be moving there. Then you've identified, okay, I've got tax delinquency. There's a huge bunch of them and I've stacked them up. So now I've got plenty of leads that have huge motivations. And now instead of sending this blanket of mailer at them, I'm going to reach out to them like I would reach out to any person the right way. I'm going to use these tools in RVM, but instead of blasting a whole bunch of them, I'm going to use it the right way. Follow us, check our videos. We've talked about how to use these tools, so I'm not going to get into it right now, but use them in the right way, in the right order. Make sure your marketing piece is direct and to the point and sends the right message. Again, check out our previous videos on this. And then this is where everyone's saying be consistent, Jason. Yeah, tell me if you've heard the word, be consistent.
We've heard that quite a bit. And there's nothing wrong with being consistent, but it's doing the right things,
right,
creating the right habits, creating the right goals that have action steps behind them. That's the consistency that we're talking about, not just, hopping online and, twiddling around on Facebook or anything like that.
Going on looking up zip codes and typing them in and making offers because it makes you feel good because you think you got something done when you really didn't. No, you're going to be consistent following this process over and over, because this is when sellers are going to get on the phone. They're going to be very curious to talk to you. You haven't done any stupid voodoo like everyone else talks about doing. You just very directly and very simply reached out to them. Now it's just about, what do you say to these people? How do you, turn this strategy that you've implemented into a deal that converts? Well, again, just like you've done from the very beginning, where you've had conversations with cash buyers, trying to identify what they want, what they need, trying to identify why they would want it, why a person would move here. Well, here's the jobs, here's all the statistics, here's the people that are buying. It's the same thing with your sellers. You're going to identify with them and just have a conversation. Hey, you know what? I was reaching out to you. We looked like you were falling behind on your property taxes. We don't think this is fair. This is, again, with our tax assistance letter. When it comes to a pre-foreclosure or a probate, that script is very different. It's all going to the same. If I showed you my funnel, if I showed you the funnel, all the arrows go into one central spot. But each arrow has its own conversation. And so identify how that lead comes in. So when they call, all right, this is a tax assistance lead. Well, it should be, since that's where you're starting. We sent out that that letter to you. We looked like you were falling behind your property taxes, blah, 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 blah. And be consistent doing this over and over again, not sending letter after letter after letter after letter. No, I sent this person one letter, maybe a ringless voicemail, maybe a phone call. Maybe they made it that far in before I got them on the phone. But now I'm just going to be consistent having conversation. And Jason, this is where we get a lot of people asking us questions. Well, what do I say? How do I get people on the phone? And I believe we have a link that we use to help people figure out where to go with this.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? We have something really cool set up for folks that, may have questions, especially in regards to implementing and seeing results in their business within a short period of time. You could schedule a time to chat with either myself, with Mike, Jason Palliser. We want to talk with you. We want to talk about your business, see if we could help you in 2021 and beyond. Go to myblueprintcall.com. Pick a time that we have available and that also works with you. Make sure you show up. That's a huge deal. Make sure you show up to it. We'd love to chat with you. Go to myblueprintcall.com and you could go ahead and go there right now. And you can see our schedule, our calendar, and we'll get that all scheduled up for you. But Mike, what can people expect when they go to that site? Like, kind of walk them through the steps. So when they go to myblueprintcall.com, what's the initial thing that they need to do?
Well, you got to understand, when we come into these videos, we have 15 minutes to really lay out a whole bunch of stuff. The call, we're going to take a little bit more time. We're going to double that up. We're going to do about 30 minutes. So when you go to the website, myblueprintcall.com, you're going to find information from our other Blueprint students who have had the pleasure and privilege to attend Blueprint with Jason, have Jason and our team build a blueprint out for them so they can take all of this stuff, and instead of having to put it together themselves, have it put together for them. You will go online and find out how that was done for them, book a time that you can talk, and then when we get on the phone, the first thing that we do, the very first thing we get into is, who are you? Where are you investing? What do you do? Because we need to find out, how can we even help? How do we turn what we've got right here? How do we turn picking a strategy for you? How do we have that conversation so you know whether you join our team or not, you're already a member of our community. So how do we help you identify taking those next steps?
Absolutely. And if you would like to have more of a predictable business rather than, the normal roller coaster business that a lot of people have or have in the past, when we come and we start talking with folks about what we could start doing, even if you get a couple golden nuggets from the time that we have together on the phone, and you just go and start implementing it. Again, these calls, no charge, there's no obligation, there's no commitment. It's just you and I having a conversation, or you could have that call with Mike or Jason Palliser as well. So make sure you head on over to myblueprintcall.com and schedule a time. If you enjoyed today's video and you could start implementing a lot of the steps that Mike was sharing with you, you're going to see some tremendous results in your business. Make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Let me know if you liked the video. Drop a 1 if you enjoyed this video. Drop a 3 if you feel like you would like to have more information about the stuff that we covered. A 1 for you liked it. A 3 for you want more information on it. I'll respond to you, see how we can help you moving forward. And make sure you become a subscriber to the channel. We would love to have you as a subscriber. And make sure you have that notification bell on as well, so that you can receive notifications when we have new videos like this drop, and you could start implementing right away. But other than that, Mike, you did a great job today. Thanks for sharing with the folks, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.